I've been doing this for 40 years. And a lot of people think they know a lot about my business and my products and my brand. But you're going to see things in this film you didn't know. You're going to see things in ways you didn't imagine it. And you're going to realize so much about how this all came to be that you never could have thought was possible. Hello, I'm Kenneth Cole, and I am the subject of a film I think you're about to watch called The Man with Soul. You're watching Picture Locked. The film is the intersection of cause and commerce. It's the story of a business and a naive businessman who set out to build a business and to connect with his audience in a meaningful way.
There's a shoe show, there's a market, there's a runway show, there's all these business agendas that need to be addressed. Why are we spending so much disproportionate amount of time on these other matters?
They had deadlines and they had to make samples. And where's Kenneth? Well, he won't be in, he's at an AMFAR meeting.
So every day I'm trying to create a balance, a functional, appropriate, healthy balance between the business, which was still growing, and then the social impact. The needs were basically infinite.
I think it's very relevant today, maybe more than ever before, because people are realizing that businesses need to somehow connect to their audiences. The fashion industry is a hard place to do it, but it's in some ways it's very telling. And if you could do it there, maybe arguably you could do it anywhere. It's a business that changes every 15 minutes. But if you can find your voice, you can find a way to connect to people about not just what's on their body, but what's on their mind, not just what they stand in, but what they stand for. I've always felt I could build a more sustainable business and one that has a greater reason to exist on so many levels for so many of its not just shareholders, but stakeholders. So it was difficult being a subject of a film. This is probably the only creative endeavor I've been very involved in my career where I did not have any oversight capacity. I did not have any editing approval. And so it was hard, but it was also intriguing. I trusted the filmmaker. I didn't know what was going to come of it. I thought there'd be a little bit more of a fashion narrative. You'd see more of our clothes and shoes, but I almost love that you don't. And we did a lot of what we set out to do, but not how we intended to do it. One thing that surprised me about the film was probably the emotional impact it had on so many of my associates who were so important and integral in the journey, but I never saw that throughout because we're all doing what we needed to do day by day and to sit back and reflect on it and see how meaningful it was. I know how meaningful it was to my family, and I know I could not have done it without my extraordinary daughters and my wife. But I didn't see it necessarily with some of my associates. We made a difference. I know we made a difference in our business, but I believe we made a difference in some cases. It's grand for me to say it, but I believe we made a difference in the world and one that we can all feel proud of. What I hope audiences take away from this is that everybody has a platform today. When I did this, social media didn't exist. I was very lucky. I set out, I had an agenda. I knew what I wanted to do. I wasn't sure how I was going to get it done. So I had a resource to do it. I had a business. I had a platform. Today, you don't need that. Today, everybody has the ability to connect with audiences in a meaningful way. And I used the platform I had. And today, people can do extraordinary things if they choose to, and if they think about it and reflect upon what they have available to them. There's no greater time, I think, than now to make a difference. I do believe that when people take on purpose as part of their agenda, that they invariably are usually the biggest beneficiaries. And the impact they make is real, it's meaningful, and it's significant, but at the end of the day, it's one that is so gratifying and it makes everything so much more fulfilling. This is not like any fashion film or even business film you've probably ever seen. And it's going to surprise you. It surprised me. It surprised everybody I know that has seen it. But you'll hopefully feel better at the end. And you may even want to look better, but that's not as important. You can see this film on Documentary Plus or Between Us Friends. It's Doc Plus.
There's no chance that anytime soon Kenneth Cole will be quiet.
I don't do quite easily.